almost delighted to have everybody back after 2 years. O2H, the vision of O2H is to seed new ideas. And it's a collaborative endeavor. We're seeding ideas by sharing ideas with each other inside O2H and new thinking. But much more than that, we're about sharing our ideas and learning from the community at large, from all the different sectors. And that's why we call this the Collaborative Innovation Conference, because you cannot, impossible to seed a new idea or do anything innovative or creative without the compound effect of working as a community. So with that in mind, I'd like to firstly tell you a little bit about the agenda today. We've got a talk on investment landscape. We've then got a talk on culture, organization design. And we then have a conversation around the future and the age of biology and chemistry. We'll even be talking about how technology can help us in our climate endeavors towards net zero. We'll then be looking a little bit at the difference between manufacture or make in India and design in India as well, a little bit later on in the day. Firstly, I'd also like to thank our sponsors, BLD Pharma, thank you very much, Chartered Speed, GLR Innovation, Cooling Trade Services, Satyamev Infotech, and TDI Chemicals. Thank you very much to our sponsors. A round of applause to our sponsors. Without further ado, I'm delighted, and it gives me great pleasure to invite Sandy up onto the stage, who'll give the keynote speaker. He's got a phenomenal track record in design, innovation, creativity, facilitating, collaboration, and he's a champion in essence exactly what this conference is about. We're all much more about working together towards innovation, creativity, design, and owning and developing intellectual property collaboratively, new ways of doing things. And he's very passionate about how we can move towards design, make, plan, think, create in India. And I'll now hand you over to Sandy. A huge O2H welcome for Sandy, please. Welcome to the stage.
Ready to kick off. Of course, things are looking a little bit different this year, but we're still seeing a lot of those innovative and pretty unique products that we're used to seeing year after year. Joining me now is Jim with CES, and Jim, you got a pretty cool setup here, huh?
Well, good morning, Alyssa, and we certainly do. So first I want to show you the On2 Cook. So this is an incredible cooking device that allows you to cook 70% faster and 40% more sustainably. So what we have on top here is a microwave function, and on the bottom, we have a stove. So what that's going to allow you to do is cook very, very quickly. So if you need the convenience, right, we're talking rice in 5 minutes. We're talking baking a cake in just 4 minutes in here. So if you're like me, if you need to lose a few pounds before the wedding and you need maybe that extra time to get to the gym, this is great because it's convenient, you can cook healthy meals, and it's fantastic.
Listen, no wedding for me, but I know a lot of people are trying to lose some weight as a New Year's resolution, so very cool to have that all-in-one product.
First up, you've heard of air fryers, but what about a microwave stovetop? The On2Cook kitchen appliance combines a convection stovetop with an overhead microwave module to cook your meals in record time. An array of temperature sensors inside the On2Cook makes timers a thing of the past and results in perfectly cooked food every single time. The On2Cook is fully funded and ready for production. It's expected to be released in August of 2022 with a price around $500. The On2Cook will likely be partnered with a home meal service like Blue Apron, so you can get your fresh ingredients delivered to the door, throw them in the pot, and then enjoy a fresh cooked meal 10 minutes later.
Sign me up. I found the first thing at CES I want to buy.
So happy to hear that.
You know, it's true because I live by myself. And I'm crazy busy like you, and you know, there's very little time to come home and cook. Now, you know, I don't necessarily buy into the buying the subscription stuff because I think half of it would get thrown away because I wouldn't need it. I wouldn't need it in time. But this may change. Well, if I could have that at the office.
Oh, yes, yes.
If I'm working late, pop it in the office. It's right there. It's all self-contained. Boom, I'm done. I'm not making a big mess. So that's where I think I'd probably have two. Probably one at the office and one at the house.
Brilliant.
Yeah, very, very brilliant. Sandy, congratulations. Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
This is the coolest product that's came across this desk, this show.
Thank you very much, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you much for being on.
Hello, good morning to all of you. Thank you very much, Prashant, for inviting me here. Whatever you just saw is what happened in the last 2 months. Looks a short time frame, but it took us 10 years to reach here. In 2010, when I first filed for the patent for this particular product, the first patent, I had gone to IIM Ahmedabad asking for incubation. Our ecosystem at that time in India was perfect for apps. So the best suggestion that I got was, app banao, app. Khane wala app banao bas. I realized that perhaps that's not the way I would be able to move forward if I have to take this invention forward. So I started a services company called Invent India. We filed 60 patents in the last 10 years till date. We have about 22 patents granted globally, and we are still innovating. Our mission is 300 patents by 2028, and we should be meeting that. Presentation, please. Can I have that here, please? Okay. So I'm just going to give you 3-4 thoughts in relation to my journey till date, how I have built an innovation-based community in our company, and that's what I expect from all of you in the long run. The first thing is that the most obvious ideas that you come across on a daily basis, of course, all of you get ideas. Everybody's inventive, everybody's innovative, right? But the most obvious ideas that just come to you when you get up in the morning are the most obvious ideas. What does this mean? It means that 90% of the thoughts that come to your mind are, see, you can't visualize anything that you have not seen or heard before. So it's a mix and match of what you've already seen. So your first few 5, 10, 15 ideas are as common as anybody's ideas. When do you get something that is far beyond what is obvious? So this is what I tell all my students. Death by concepts, which means you conceptualize, you come up with ideas and more ideas and more ideas. And a stage comes when you go, oh shit, I don't have any more ideas. I'm done. My paper is, everything that I could think of is right here on the paper. And then next day morning when you get up, you get another brilliant idea. Oh, I didn't think about this. And that's when you come up with such ideas where you eventually look at it and say, oh shit, wow, I never thought about this. It's a very simple thing, the product that you saw. A conventional oven that you see in the microwave oven and which has conduction, convection, radiation, all kinds of energy, it's been there for 50 years. A box, you put your stuff in, you have your heater coil, you have your microwaves, it works. But it doesn't work for you because you make curries. You make stuff where you have to make the masala, you have to add water, and then you need to cook your food. For maybe a European and American, you just put everything in the tray, put it in the oven, it's all done, 40 minutes, perfect. So that's the gap. Identifying those gaps and coming up with those ideas takes time. And once you have the idea, once you have some idea of what you intend to do, it takes a lot more time to reach somewhere where it makes sense. The first one is 7 kgs lid, and then it went on and on and on, and we had a lot of trouble coming up to this stage. Second thought, We all get ideas, and as I said, we hear, we listen, we see things, and then we get more ideas. Those ideas are run-of-the-mill ideas because we are late. What do I mean by late? Look at that. If you just search for a computer and a mouse, a patent search, these are the number of patents filed from 1997 onwards up to 2021, which have something to do with a computer and a mouse. What do you see? You see that it peaked out in about 2012-13 time frame. And that was the time when you had all kinds of mice on the planet. बीच में ball, side में ball, keyboard के बीच में, side में, बहुत complex mouse and a simple mouse. And then eventually all of them went down. And you are left with your nice, ergonomic, simple 50 rupee mouse that you get it. That's the time when you're commoditizing it. That's the time when you're value engineering and you're trying to make the cost, you bring down the cost to, let's say, 15 rupees, 20 rupees, so that you can sell a mouse for 50 rupees. So when do you actually get into a particular product category? Whatever your idea is, look at it on this scale. If you're here 2001, 2, 3, 4, any mouse that you come up with, any innovative idea, even if it's hanging on the wall, it will have a market. Somebody will buy it, somebody will try it, and then the future will decide whether it makes sense or not. But most of our ideas that we think here, they are there, right at the end. So, what's the key thought? Catch them young. Don't wait for it to establish its market. Get into it when there's a lot of scope for innovation. Most important thing, develop an overview. Everything has to be measurable. If you can't measure it, you cannot improve it, whether it is incremental or blue sky. What do I mean? In everything that you're thinking, there are two things. What is to be done and how to do it, right? Of course, the third thing is cost and time that it's going to take. But outcome and process are the key. The most obvious thoughts are stuck at A. I know what's to be done. I know how to do it. I'll put 6 months in it. I'll come up with a nice app. And then there are a zillion other people who are doing the same thing to compete with you. When you move to a level where you know what is to be done, but there's a question mark of how to do it, you have certain level of complexity. It's going to take more time, but the outcome also is going to be different. You're going to come up with something that's a little bit more innovative than just the A category. And then you don't know what is to be done, and you don't know how to do it. That's where invention lies. So it's a choice that you make in your journey. Do you want to start there? Do you want to start somewhere in the middle? Definitely not in the beginning, because then that's run-of-the-mill. It's very difficult to get a patent for something that's there at A stage, and you're sure to get a patent there, but then you're not designing something for somebody on the moon. So be careful that you're aware as a measurable what you're doing. What's the market, what's the application, and so on. This is something that's going to be a discussion later as well, global versus local. It's everything that you know and everything that you think and come up with as an inventive or innovative idea is out of that space of your knowledge. Increasing that knowledge, going beyond what you already know, is the key to coming up with more innovative ideas. What you know is what Americans have made, let's say, in a C-arm or an MRI system. What you think is that is applicable to the Indian context the same way. But there, a nurse costs about $10,000 a month. In India, a nurse costs about 10,000 rupees or maybe 20,000 rupees a month. Is it the same? No. So global versus local is a big debate. The product that I showed you earlier is a local way of looking at the global technology. So get this, we are not the same as the West. Body temperature 37 degrees. Every person who experiences body temperature below 37 and above 37 in their ambience is brought up differently. The ecosystem is different, the culture is different, the religions are different, the philosophy is different. Let's have products also that are different for these two different communities or groups of people. So to end my note, here is what Einstein said. Thinking that has brought us this far has created some problems that this thinking cannot solve. So to get something you don't have, you have to do something you've never done. It's okay that you've not invented anything till date. You have to understand, gain knowledge, and expand your purview beyond what you know to be able to create something that you have never created. All the best. Thank you.